Greetings, everybody, and welcome to our today's episode to Because I Am an African Woman. My name is Lillian, and I'm very excited to be here today. Today's topic is and goes all about is all about rites of passage. But before we dwell into the topic, I would like to wish everyone a happy Pan Africans Women's Day, where we celebrate and honor our trailblazers from Ya Asantewa over Wangari Maathai, Maya Angelou, Assata Shakur, and many, many more. But I also honor our wonderful panelists. Sister Leah, who is the calm and patient soul, always behind the scenes, working very hard. Um, we have Sister Siombua, whose creativity is so inspirational and so amazing. She's a hard worker and breaking barriers with each day, every single day. We have Sister Iberici, whose creativity is a fresh of breath air into my lives. We also have two amazing guests today. We have Sister Lucy, who I'm going to introduce shortly. And we also have Brother Angus today, who is our first male guest on the program. So, welcome to all of our viewers to the United States of Africa, Global Pan Africanism Network, and Tuna Chiki TV. So today's topic, as I said, is all about rites of passage, and one part that plays essential role and a very important role is menstruation and our period. So although more than half of today's population and our population go through menstrual cycles, have gone through it or will go through it, it's still a lot of taboo around this topic. So today we are not only raising awareness, but we are also talking about one important part of periods is period poverty. I'm based here in the UK, and 1 in 10 girls miss school because of period-related issues. When we go globally, the numbers are much more even. So we have 4 out of 5 girls up to 4 out of 5 girls miss school because they do not have access to sanitary towels. But we have two amazing guests today who are going to speak, who are much more equipped to speak about this issue. So I am welcoming Sister Lucy. Okay, just a second today. So welcome, Sister Lucy. She is the co-founder and CEO of Woman Choice Industries. She is an adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights advocate. She is a girls' menstrual health hygiene management activist, a quality health access practitioner, a health services provider, a clinician, a public administrator, a holder of both clinical medicine and bachelor's in public administration with over 12 years experience in community work and services. So again, we're so blessed to have you today. A very warm welcome, Sister Lucy. If you could please briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you are doing for our little girls.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to celebrate It's Because I'm an African Woman. Yes, it's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to just talk about ourselves and the issues that are affecting our life. Yes, my name is Lucy Odiwa. I'm co-founder and chief executive officer, Women Choice Industries, a social enterprise that manufactures and distributes low-cost, affordable, reusable sanitary towels for women and girls in low-resource settings, addressing the problem of period poverty in Tanzania. Yes. For a long time, we were made to believe that the issue of periods is an issue of shame, is an issue of silence, is an issue that you just have to devise and see how to maneuver through it all the time as you have your periods. But then we all come to realize and appreciate that this is something that we need to talk about. And the issue of period poverty is an issue that has made girls and women transition from childhood into adulthood with fear, anxiety, shame, a lack of information on whatever is happening in their bodies, lack of resources, stigma, you see. So this is something that I have personally experienced firsthand, and this is why I'm really so passionate about period poverty today. And period poverty to us at Women Choice Industries is not just the absence of menstrual absorbance, but again, it is, oh, sorry, again, it is the issue of inability to experience life in its fullness simply because you are having your periods. And young girls lack information, the right information. Period has just been clouded by myths, misconceptions, taboos, the don'ts, and nobody really equips young girls with the right information of what should you do once you're in your period. And again, young girls lack access to hygienic materials to manage their periods, causing them to use unhygienic materials. We rush into, we resolve into using cloth rags, pieces of mattress, blankets. Girls go to the extent of making tree barks, banana fiber, and using even cow dung to manage their periods, putting their health at risk. And girls also lack the right infrastructure or resources to facilitate having to managing your periods well. Most of the infrastructures that have been put on board do not consider the needs of a young girl when she is having a period. So my own experience of being a young girl of 16 years of age at a Sumbi Girls High School in Western Kenya in Form 3, of having been called by my teacher to answer an algebraic equation on the board really resonates so much with me even as today. Because as I stood, I felt something warm ooze from beneath, and I wondered what a new innovation that is happening in my body without my information. But again, I realized that my classmates were murmuring and giggling, and a few words passed across my ears. She has broken blood. She's soiled. And one particular girl with a sense of urgency asked me to sit down because I was soiled. Looking at my skirt, it was already soiled. With a lot of shame and embarrassment, I found myself running out of class, heading towards the dormitory. As I went running outside, I guessed I must have started my periods. And my question was, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to manage it? Because I didn't have any material to absorb the menstrual blood. And what else could I think of except another student's white socks that were hanging on the clothesline? So I took a pair of my fellow students' white socks, and this is what I used as my first cloth pad. Not knowing anything concerning my period, I wished that my period would end that day, or maybe I would wake up the following day and find it gone. But when I woke up the following day, it was even getting heavier and going on and on. So because I had nothing, I had to devise something. I tore my bed sheet into pieces and used it as a cloth pad and went to class, not knowing that on the second day my periods were actually going to be heavier. And this got soaked early enough in class. I could not stand. I could not answer any question. I was continually, in a mess, both psychologically. I never concentrated in class. So during break, I had to wait for my fellow students to leave class to go for break. And that's when I stood and took my sweater, tied it around my waist, cleaned my chair, and I went to the school dispensary and told the school nurse that I feel sick. I felt this severe abdominal pain, and so I was just admitted in the school dispensary, and I stayed in the school dispensary for 5 days. These 5 days were and still remain to be the most agonizing days of my life. And I never shared it with anybody. Even when I went home during the holidays, I didn't share it with my parents because there was no avenue for me to begin talking about this. I didn't know what is happening and if it is right for me to talk to anyone about it. So I kept silent, and as I was going back to school, I wrote in my shopping list that I needed sanitary towels, and my parents managed to buy me 2 packets, which were supposed to last me for 3 months. So even when I got the packets, I still had to devise means of how these 3 packets were going to be sufficient for me for the next 3 months. This meant that I had to stay with packets of sanitary towels for longer than expected. And I kept on staining here and there. And my menstrual days were now these days that I really dreaded, and I was not really looking forward to my menstruation. In fact, I wish that something would just come in between and just make this period blood to stop. Every time I got into my periods, I became isolated, I became afraid, I became anxious, I became so emotional. You know, there were just these psychological consequences that at that particular time I did not appreciate or realize. So it is only after going into medical school that I came to know what is happening, and that menstruation is a biological process that I should expect, and every woman should expect once they move from childhood into puberty, and that it's going to take several days. It starts small and it gets heavier as the days go by, and then it reduces and ends. It will take a period of 3 to 7 days, depending, and you're going to have it every time in your month. So as I completed college and went into clinical medicine, that's when I came to realize the burden that other women and girls also have during their menstruation. Young girls used to be brought to my office when they had this loss of consciousness. And normally you hear many people say that girls suffer from hysteria, where they fake this loss of consciousness. They fall in school and they have to be rushed out of school. And everyone has a theory to this hysteria. But what I realize is that more than 90% of the girls who ever came to our facility with this faked loss of consciousness, they started their periods while in school, and they could not carry on being in school. So they had to find a way of leaving school. And what is the easier way of getting away from school without being interrogated, like what is happening to you? The only easy thing to do is to fake some loss of consciousness, and you will be carried out to school, to the hospital, and after that you go home. You don't go back to class after you have lost your consciousness. So when I realized, because as a doctor I'm able to know whether this is a true loss of consciousness or it is a fake loss of consciousness. So when I realized that this is not a true loss of consciousness, what I used to do is to request, accompany the girl to the hospital, just leave me with the nurse and the young girl by ourselves, and let us try talking about it. And after they left, I now encouraged her to open up and explain to me what the problem is. And to most of them, the problem was that they had started their periods while in school. So what we did was to improvise a makeshift sanitary pad with the gauze pieces and the cotton pieces that are available in the hospital. And yes, we just write just some pain relief, just for psychotherapy, and we allow them to go home. And also, as I offered, by then I was a civil servant, and as I offered my services with non-government organizations, I realized that many girls and boys had questions around sexual reproductive health, and majorly on the periods, because a lot of taboos, like, the boys would say confidently that if a girl is in her period, she's not supposed to come close to you as a boy because she's dirty, she's shameful at that point. She will, stain you, like she is going to do something which is socially really not acceptable. These taboos and these myths are the things that hinder women, and they inhibit women from dreaming and achieving their visions in life, simply because they feel inferior just because they're having their periods. And I began wondering and telling myself, oh, who is feeding our generation this thing, and why is it going on? Maybe initially, when our society constructed all this, well, I believe that it was done in good faith. If I don't want to challenge society a lot, I believe that it was done in good faith, because at that particular time maybe there was no menstrual absorbent which could really facilitate the ease of a woman moving around and going about her duties during her period. So they had to devise these scare techniques where girls would be required to remain at home at all the time during their periods, and that was a way of making them stay at home. So I decided that I'm going to give girls and boys the right education about periods, and I now looked at myself, the picture became so clear how I suffered mentally and psychologically over the issue of periods, how I came from being this vibrant, confident young girl into this self-absorbed, shy, quiet, timid, just because I was having my periods. And I think I'm so lucky that by God's grace, I was able to recover from that, because not everyone recovers from these psychological blows. And I realized that girls are not able to set a vision and achieve it if you're not confident. Not only for girls, it's for every human race, that without confidence, without a high self-esteem, it is not easy to have a vision and achieve it, because at every time you're just conscious of yourself whether you are right or wrong. And when you keep on self-doubting, then it is not easy to achieve anything. And that's when, as I started this, I came to realize that just as I missed 5 days of school in my periods, girls are missing 4 to 7 days of school every month in their periods. And they're not saying the reason as to why they're missing school. It is just I was sick or there was an emergency, because girls are not really sure that will this reason of being in my periods be a reason enough to justify my absence of school. We second guess even the biological natural processes that are destined to happen to a girl, but then when it happens to you, you feel so low, so degraded, like it is really a mistake to be a woman. And this thing really, actually, they really pained me a lot. And this is something which is so personal to me. The period issue is a very personal issue to me. And so well, my first thought was, what do we do about it? Give the right information? Yes, but girls are not having the right product. Should we now like gather resources together, bring resources together, and help them access the disposable sanitary towels? But again, the question was of sustainability. How long will we be able to gather these resources and make this accessible to girls at all times? And that is when the idea of having uh, an innovation that offers a longer lasting solution, a product that you are able to use severally over time. And that's when we settled for the reusable sanitary towels, and went into researching which is the best material that is going to be comfortable and very absorbent, something that is not going to leak or fall, and set forth into setting Women Choice Industries, which is now a social enterprise that uh, addresses the problem of period poverty by making accessible, low-cost menstrual absorbents to women and girls in low-resource settings to improve school attendance and academic performance, and at the same time enable women go about their economic activities with ease, with confidence. But this, we realize that just making available menstrual care products and teaching them the right information about periods is not enough. We had to go a step further and first of all include boys and men in the teaching about menstrual education. And another thing is to include the issue of vision, mission, objectives, and goals. That girls need to realize, why are they in school? For me as Lucy, after some time, I need to phase out. We all phase out. We all sign out, whether we like it or not, whether by death or by virtue of age. But then we'll have to phase out, and some people will have to come in. So after I leave, who is going to take over? Who will take the part of the teachers? It is this current young girl. So they have to know that if they are not counting on themselves, then we are counting on them. And when we are counting on them, we don't count on them just by the virtue of being alive. We want them to be fully present, well equipped to take over this. And that is why we want them to begin dreaming dreams, having visions. As we take to them the menstrual health education, then we want them to know that we want them to stay at school at all times so that they are able to, first of all, pass the academics and then go ahead and achieve the dreams and vision, making a better world. So this is the work that I do with the young girls and women at Women Choice Industries, guiding them and empowering them into strong women who are going to lead the future. Yes, it is about periods, but it is about women leading the future. Thank you so much. I have much more to say, but then let me give room for question and answers. And yes, I told you before that this is a issue close to my heart, so I don't want to be selfish and take the whole show. Yes, thank you so much.
You know what? We love listening to you. I absolutely enjoyed what you've said before and sharing your personal journey, sharing your personal experience and your journey into women's choice industry. So thank you so much. And
Thank you.
we're gonna hear so much more from you actually when we
Yes,
open it up to
definitely.
the full panel. I just really loved how you said that it's not only about providing sanitary towels and sanitary products. It's
Mhm.
enabling our girls to walk in their purpose, to have a vision and dream, and have this academic also. Don't fall back academically in these things, so that we're actually equipping future leaders. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. As I said, we're going to go back to you in a few minutes. I just would like to, Brother Angus, are you ready? I would just like to add Brother Angus to the stream now. Um, okay, so greetings, Brother Angus. Um,
Greeting.
Greetings. So, Brother Angus is Executive Director of Kugonza, Uganda. He's a women's and girls' child activist who is working tirelessly to prevent teenage pregnancy. He's also raising awareness through on the ground training, virtual and physical workshops, campaigns, and many, many things more. So, again, a very warm welcome to our first male guest on Because I Am an African Woman. We're very honored to have you here. If you could briefly introduce yourself and then just speak about what you're doing and the challenges and how you got to where you got to.
Well, it's always a pleasure when I'm on a panel and I'm discussing about what's happening to the young girls in Africa and, well, in Uganda. My name is Angus Nasasira. I'm a Ugandan by birth, and I come from Liantonde. That's a district. Kavala is a sub-county. I don't know how you do it in London, yeah, but it's always a great opportunity. I work with Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda. This starts when I was leaving campus, and I really saw what was happening within my country about these young girls getting pregnant because they do not have pads, because of the society we're in. So I felt, no, I can just add a voice to what is happening to the country, and maybe we can have an impact. And in this, as Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda, we have had a lot of workshops that surely target the young girls here in Uganda. And I would say, I'm not proud to say about this. Yeah, Uganda is one of the country that has the youngest population of these people here in Uganda, and most of these are girls. Recently, I was reading about the 5.5 billion women we have in the world. Apart from that, most of them are girls. And I usually tell people that, yeah, it's time for us to speak about this. Periodic poverty is real, and it's real. Young people do not know what it means. My sister has just shared. I can just give you a wrap-up of what happened when I was in P4. That is primary 4 here in Uganda. That is something like grade 2. I meet this classmate of mine, and she's having her pads in class. Then I'm like, what's this? Because of that ignorance we usually have, people do not want to tell us of what it means by a pad. And I'm like, this girl is like, you know what, this is my bread. I'm like, bread? So all of a sudden at break time I get this bread, and I'm in all the class doing this. I check bread, which kind of bread is this? Little did I know that this girl was in her periods, and I even called her. I was like, look, this is what is happening. And she was like, oh, okay, so this is what is happening. And
Right. It seems like Brother Angus is having some technical difficulties. Brother Angus, can you hear us?
yeah, I'm hearing you very well.
Yes. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, just leave it for that for now. The camera's off. If the when the network comes back, you can put your camera back on. So thank you.
Yeah, I really don't know why I'd stopped. But then I was telling you that story when I was in P4 and all this happening. So this other friend of mine had to leave class because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that it was even a pad by then. But this other friend of mine leaves class because of Angus. And after all, they gave me some good canes. Then they were like, no, That's not the way you do things. Yeah, do not touch the girl's bag. So I realized, oh, so you mean this is something so insensitive. And from that day, I started realizing, yeah, this is a pad and it's used for this. But here in Uganda, we have had one challenge, and even within my organization, people do not know what it means by the periods. I would share with you that we have been in the HMW week. We have been in the menstruation health week here in Uganda with Kugonza, and we have been creating awareness on what it means by someone being in that period. What does it even cost? As a man, what's your role? As a father, what's your role to this other young girl who does not know what it means by being in the periods? And we have had a lot of engagements with the fathers, with the religious leaders, and we're trying to amplify this voice because one of the reasons why we even have these girls leave school is that they have a challenge. They have that challenge, which is stigma. I would share with you that recently, that was last year, we had a news roundup here in Uganda, and they were telling us of 1.2 girls that do not accomplish P7 because they have stigma. They have no pads, and it's well. People here know, yeah, it's well. If you don't have a pad, then a guy is going to tell you, Frida, I cannot go back to school. How will these other boys see me? So it's one thing as Gonza we are fighting for. How can we even see these things come here? How can we even now request the government to give pads to these people because they are vulnerable? They do not have the money to buy the pad. A pack is at 3,500, which is something like $2. Yeah. So you realize someone cannot afford buying a pad for herself. Then she's like, instead of buying this pad, I'd rather go back home and leave, or I'd rather get married, and that is on and it's real. So as Kugonza, what we are doing is just one. One is that we are creating awareness on what it means by being in that period. We do not only create awareness to these girls alone, no. We even carry this message to the boy. When you see this other girl in her periods, please take the initiative. In case she stamps out, please take that initiative. And you're like, no, look, my friend, I think you can have an excuse. Go to the washroom and clean yourself. But all we have been doing because of ignorance is that when you meet this girl, all you can do is laughing at her, and you're like, oh God. So, and it's one reason that people are doing this. They think it's a curse, and all the girls now believe it's a curse. So, what we do is that we share with what we know, and we're sharing the knowledge that no, look, it's not a curse. This is a blessing from God, and it's there for a mother. A mother will have to go with this until maybe 45 years. So what do you do as a mother? What do you do as a young girl of this nation? Because one, as we read about the SDGs, everyone should have that quality education. So there is no you're going to have quality education when you are stigmatized and you have left school. So as we amplify our voices on surely having quality education is that we tell these girls no, the periodic poverty should end. And how does it end? We are in partnership with MacPads, which is one of the enterprises, just as my sister said. What they mainly do is that they produce pads and then we supply when we have some people coming in to donate for the girls. And the other thing that we do is that we're also encouraging girls now to go for these reusable pads because they cannot accommodate buying these other pads. So where is the country going? And as Gonza, that has been our question. If these girls cannot accommodate buying pads, what do we do now? Can we teach them this other side that now look, with a reusable pad, you can use this pad for at least more than 5 times, then use the other pad. It's all about sanitation. And I would want also tell you that the what is not good. So we also take that initiative of at least moving to every place that we think needs our help. I'm going to one of the districts here in Uganda after 2 weeks from now, and these people, we have had a case of sex for pads. People give in because they have been in that menstruation period. So the easiest way she thinks she can get the money for the next periods is first giving in sex. So we are creating awareness that no, look, you shouldn't give your body oh have sex because of pads. No, you can either now start working or do some small business, start up something small as the young girls of this nation. Start something small that is going to be a source of income, and we shall be there for the whole week teaching these sisters of ours that you shouldn't go for sex because you want a pad. No, can you go and work and buy your own pad than going for sex and you buy this pad of which they do not even get these pads at the end of the day having sex, they get pregnant. And that's why even you find people saying, yeah, we have the youngest population, but what's the main cause of this population? It's just because of that. Girls do not know about periods. It has been our call as Kugonza that even our fathers and mothers do not have time for their own children. So it has been our call. Can we even now initiate this family fellowship, whereby a mother, it's your initiative as a mother and a father. When you come back home, get some time for your son, just as you get that time to ignite your car, then you're going to work, but you do not want to have this time for your son or daughter. So it is one request that we're also pushing on and requesting that now it's no longer the role of we as Gonza. Yes, we are doing this, but then it's a role of every Ugandan and every African or every person, citizens of this world, that get time for your son and daughter. Tell them about this. Most of the girls do not want to speak because their fathers are rude. The mom is rude. The mom comes back home when she's all tired with the stress and she does not want to speak to the child. So we want to get off that. If you can have that self love with your kid, then I think your daughter will tell you the first day, you know what, dad, I experienced this. But most of these girls do not even share with their dads. All they do is that they will first tell this other peer group they have. And what will the peer group tell them? No, look, you can do this, stop this. Or you can even use stockings, because most of the girls here, when they get into that period, all they can do is put off the stockings. I don't know if you know the stockings, the shoe stockings, and they put them. They have to wear the stockings as if it's a pad. That's what they have always advised them. And what does it bring now? It brings an infection to this other girl, meaning that we are not now streamlining what SDG number 3 says of good health and of good health and the citizens and the well-being of the citizens, meaning that this girl is going to get some infection, then she's going to the hospital, something like that. So as Gonsa, we have said no, this must stop, and we are now carrying on a campaign called Swaleko. In English, it means let's get ashamed. Yeah, it has been on. Girls have given their bodies because they want pads, but let's get ashamed and stop this. As an organization, if you really think you can give a hand, then let's get ashamed and give a hand to this young girl in Kasesa who does not have a pad, but who is going to go for sex because of a pad. And for God's sake, if you're a man watching this, if a young teen comes to you, if this teen comes to you and she's like, I do not have a pad, know what it means, because I mean, that is one thing that these people have. And to me, I always say, yeah, it's yesterday we had a conversation of this girl who was telling us that her second day is always the worst day when she's in her periods. So I was just imagining as a man, when I usually get sick, I'm all praying God I shouldn't die. And this girl is experiencing all this pain. But when she comes over you as a man, you're like, you know what? No, let's have sex, then I'm going to buy a pad. This must stop, and it has been my call everywhere. Thank you. I wouldn't want to take everyone's time. Maybe I can drive in after.
Oh, I thank you so much. And I'm very sure that people now know and understand why you have been our very first male guest on the program. You're so passionate about this, and the work you're doing is just so admirable. So thank you so much for sharing this. And we're just now opening up the panel for everybody, for my wonderful panelists also to speak about this together. So thank you again for this, and also your experience with in your work on the ground, and this idea that, you know, so the loss of dignity really, when they come and don't have sanitary towels, when they basically are exploited because of something that is natural and happens, as I said, to half of the population. Thank you so much for this. Now, yeah, I'm just going to open, as I said, I'm going to open up to the panel. So, Sister Leah, just hearing some of the things we've just heard, and about period poverty. What are your thoughts about this? Or I'm just going to start with you because you're just disagreeing with me.
Yeah, that's okay. And before I start, may I wish everybody a happy Pan African Women's Day, and may we all rise together. Um, yeah, and back to the sort of thing at hand. One of the things that I noticed and realised was the similarities with my own experience. And I don't know if it's a shame or if it's something that we just don't discuss, in terms of, when I first started mine, I wasn't told anything about it. It just happened. And it was only after it happened I then approached, my mum, who then talked to me about it. But there just isn't that education about it before it starts. Even though I have older sisters who had gone through it, I didn't know anything about theirs. So it was almost like, if I don't know if it was taboo or whether it was just something that we just didn't speak about. But I'm just amazed that it seems to be a bigger thing. I thought it was just us, that just didn't talk about it. But it's bigger than I thought. You know.
Absolutely, and it's really a global thing,
Mm,
and that's why we really need to raise this awareness. We need to work together, and as I said, rise, and as especially as Pan Africanists, also, and understand that this is a global thing, and poverty,
mm,
with poverty comes period poverty, and unfortunately, our girls. With being oppressed, it's a form of oppression,
yeah.
really. And yeah, but yeah, thank you for this, absolutely.
Because it's
And
something that
yeah,
I wasn't aware of, and I guess I'm growing up in the UK, where these things are readily accessible. You don't realize how fortunate we are that we have all of these pads and all these sanitary equipment, stuff that at our disposal. So you don't realize how lucky we are. So
yeah,
yeah.
thank you for this, absolutely. So Sister Iberici, greetings again. Yeah, so what were your thoughts about some of the things we've just heard?
Oh, like listening to the both guest speaker really got to me. No, understanding that a group, like, because it's sort of like strange to me, because while growing up, maybe it's because I always had the I always been educated on period from my secondary school, then so it's like strange to me. But getting to know that there are women out there who do not get this privilege, do not get this education, it's really got to me. And what it just shows is that there is need for more awareness on period, especially in remote places. Because I happen to grow in the town, so maybe that is the reason it's like not so known to me. But especially in remote places, there is need for awareness, making people see, making girls see that this is a part of their being, and that it's nothing wrong with menstruating. And perhaps if you don't menstruate, I don't know, it's so much a part of us. Then also educating them on the period poverty, like giving them basic knowledge on the health damage not being hygienic during your period could cause you, and a lot like that. Because yeah, like where I have always stayed, like where I've always been, I've always had this opportunity of attending classes on menstruation, childbirth, and all of the likes, that we even get sanitary towels at times. So it's what it shows is that some places haven't been reached, and it needs to be reached. So girls do not drop out of school because of period and the like.
Absolutely, absolutely. We really, as Sister Lucy said before, we really need to make sure that we make sure that we enable our girls to be our future leaders. Absolutely, yes. And Sister Siambua, again, some of the things you've heard. What are your thoughts on this?
It's actually how crazy how our experiences with experience with Sister Lucy is so similar, because that was my introduction to my period as well. Uh, but mine came extremely early, so mine started in class 4, which is about 8 years, 8, 9 years. And I had no idea what happened until I stood up, and all the students were like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And so it took the teacher to take me out of class and take me to the principal office to be given a new uniform and pads. And they felt like, "Oh, this is what has happened." And it's so strange that prior to that, no one even talked about how early it can start. Because I think I was one of two people in my class, because everybody else started way after. You know, guys was like probably in high school, and I started in lower primary. And so when people are like, "Oh, you matured early," and it was it came with a lot of expansion of stigma, because now that comes with, oh, probably now you're sexually active and you're thinking in class 4, and it comes with just, your body changes quickly, you become big fast, and so no one is there to talk you through this process. No one is there to, okay, this is what you're supposed to expect, this is what is going on. Most of us, I had to learn on my own. I had to try and figure out why my breast was becoming big at a really small age, and try and find what is really really going on. And so it's such a shocking experience, especially when you're young, when you don't have anyone to talk to. At the same time, with what our brother had to say, that just hit home, because we are currently with the organization in talks in regards to trying to find a way to um, bring to try and bring girls back into society due to early pregnancy, teen pregnancy, and we are trying to find a way to do it through sport, because we have various countries that once a girl gets pregnant, that's the end of education. She's not going back to school again, and they're too young, because we are looking at situations of where our our teen pregnancies spiked tremendously during the lockdown of 2020. So what we were looking at, one in every 10 uh, teens getting pregnant, now comes to almost 10 kids getting pregnant in that same period of time. And so now it's become a crisis now, when you're looking at almost 500,000 teenagers pregnant in a period of 6 to 8 months. That becomes a very alarming situation. And so we had to look at what was going on and why was this happening. And one of it, we came to realize schools were closed. And when most students were getting their pads from school, because they were being donated to school. But now that school were closed, the donations weren't coming in. And so they had to look for substitutes to be able to do it. And here comes in the period poverty aspect of where they go look for an older person to help them, but instead they take advantage. And now we are looking at a situation of where it's now a crisis, when it was not supposed to be the same. And so there's a lot of education that has to come in. There's a lot of talking to the young girls that this is not the end of the journey just because you got pregnant early. We still have ways of where you can go back to school, you can learn, and you can go all the way to university, and you can still get your dream career. And so there's we have so much work that we have to do, and especially when it comes to period poverty and teen pregnancies. And so I truly understand. And for today, this is a topic that definitely hits home.
Thank you so much, and also thank you, for sharing your personal journeys. And it's really about oh, sorry, bring this back. It's really about raising this awareness and saying, okay, you are not alone. You're not alone with this experience. Um, and we are in this together. And as Pan-Africanists, obviously, if that affects somebody in, as a Pan-Africanist, if it affects somebody in Uganda, in the Caribbean, it's all of us. It affects all of us, and this understanding. And that's what we need to
Indeed.
collectively work together. Absolutely, yeah, collectively work together to a raise awareness, b to make sure that we offer the support and solutions that we are. So we're obviously very very blessed to work with to one of our wonderful guests who are really trying very hard to provide these solutions. And yeah, so Sister Lucy, you said you could speak so much about it, and I think you should really. because you have this experience and you're working in this. And what are some of the challenges that you're facing now, um that you've you're the CEO of Women and the co-founder of Women's Choice Industry. So what which were some of the challenges you've had?
Yes, thank you so much for the for another opportunity. And I was basically, as I was listening to this panel today, there is something that I began to consider, and this is a forum where I share personal experiences. I normally tell people that entrepreneurship and the decision to tackle something could be quite lonely because you are going contrary to the thoughts of other people, you see. So when I get a forum like this to speak, then I really get excited to get a forum where I can speak. Well, one of the challenges that I faced today. There is this application for a grant that we made, and then today I get an email that tells me a lot of, and I'm really grateful for the response that the organizers did. That they really went into details and even spot areas where as to why you did not get the grant funding. And one of the issues that I got as a feedback was that, this is an issue of menstruation, which is not an area of focus in development. See, that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can relate to
yeah,
that. And then another
mm,
point, there were 2 points, several points, but these ones really caught me. And then another point said that, this is not something that can really be implemented during the pandemic. That really?
I mean,
Like,
such
did the
an
period stop
issue. Yeah,
for the pandemic? Did they stop for the pandemic? You see how
The
girls
period
have
did
fallen
stop during
pregnant
the
during this
pandemic.
period just because, you know,
and yeah, and
like these
that's
things
what
really
we are
got me
why we're
thinking.
looking for.
I was reading that email with my partner today, and then I said that whoever was in this panel, yes, sometimes I just want to speak.
Yeah, no, no,
Whoever
absolutely.
made up the people that made up this panel know nothing about menstruation. And I'd really love given the opportunity to invite them to a meeting like this. We
Yes,
don't really
and
need to get the
we
money,
should. Yeah.
but
Can I
this
say
thing
something
needs
about
to be
that?
considered. Hmm. Yes,
Absolutely, brother
welcome, Brother
Angus.
Angus.
No, no. One thing I always tell my friends and my people is that we as Africans need to find a solution, even when these people say no to the grant. I remember when I was starting Kugonza, people were like, "No, how do you even speak to a girl when you're a boy?" To a challenge, I'm just born alone. I do not have a brother. I do not have a sister. What inspires you? But what inspired me most was seeing these other girls who were almost like my sisters passing through this. So I remember one day I also went to one of the TVs and I'm like, you know what? I have a word I can share to the country. And this guy is like, do you have the money? Then I'm like, no. But then I knelt down. I was like, no, Africa, Uganda is not going to be the same. I want to assure you that for the people I've met at least, there is something that has changed. If I find that you at least have an idea, then I'm going to be like, okay, how do we even build on this idea? Even when they reject you, my sister, no, just get on your knees. Time is going to come and you're going to have a big one. Surprisingly, these people will come back and they're like, okay, can we now work together? Because I've
Exactly.
seen this happen.
Sure.
Can we really
Yes.
work together? Because I really believe that
Hmm.
there is no one who can really come for a solution to Africa. There is no one who can even think about Uganda, not me. And there is no one that can at
Yeah.
least even give out her time, just as we're doing here.
Hmm.
It all comes back to love. I also love reading. I was reading about the SDGs, number 17. It says about partnership. That might be big, the organization is really big, but then you can even start with that small organization within your district. And that organization is going to still spread your work on what you're doing. Because I remember I also had applied with this big organization, and I'm like, I have something I can do for the nation. Then they're like, no. I think Sister Lillian can tell the people I have here, they're young organizations, just young as I am. I've not even made a year, but the campaign we are having on, the commissioner comes to launch our campaign and he's like, okay, how do this young boy of 23 even call a minister at your age? Like, how? But I felt that was God and that was the Ugandalism in me. I feel I have to do something. So even if that comes on, I would want to tell you that, yeah, go on, look for the other opportunity
Yes,
now, and
yes,
work hard that one day, one time you will show them something big.
sure.
Thank you.
Sure, brother. Angus. Thank you. Yes, just to say on that, just to make this clear, I think because of time, I did not share our journey. As we started Women Choice Industries with the magnitude of publicity that we now enjoy, we did not start focusing on any external funding. But this does not mean that we will fail to grasp any opportunity that grants us the opportunity to reach out to more girls. We started this with our own savings. It was around $100, if I could, just for the sake of the difference in the areas where we stay. We started with just $100, and it took us a long time until we decided that now, okay, let us now exploit every opportunity. You know, so we have really, it has been well, this could be now on a business forum. If then one day we start talking about business, then that could be the right place now to talk on the gender and business and how you can access funding and how you can start just by the passion and the idea. And I'd love to say this, how other Africans have inspired us. First of all, one person who has inspired me is Mr. Strive Masiyiwa. I read his book of how to make a multi-billion-dollar industry out of nothing, and that thing changed my whole perspective. So we started literally from the idea stage. Yes, so that was just one incident where we were grasping an opportunity to reach out to more girls. You see, girls need this. So when the opportunity arises, we don't shy away from it. Yes, but there are also other challenges. The major challenge is the issue of capital. You know, this is something that as you begin, you think that you're going to solve it with money,
Oh, there has been some
Technical issue.
problems with us. Yeah, yeah. But we're gonna be back in a minute. Right. While we're waiting for Sister Lucy to
little later.
yeah. Are you
Yes,
Sister Lucy? Yeah, you back?
yes.
Okay,
I,
brilliant.
I lost I lost connection 1 minute, but then I'm now
Yeah,
back.
no, good. Good to have you back.
Great. So, you know, one of the major challenges was the issue of capital. As I said, that you start out of fashion, you think of those who are immediately around you, but then you realize that this thing is bigger than I thought, and then I'm not doing it at this level will mean that will also signify some level of selfishness. So that's when we had to transform. And because of the issue of sustainability, we moved from thinking of maybe an NGO or a self-help group and going into a business social enterprise, a social enterprise with social impact. And that is why even our sanitary towels are one of the actually are the lowly priced sanitary towels in Tanzania. Getting a pack of 5 maxi reusable sanitary towels for 10,000 shillings, Tanzanian shillings, is really the cheapest in the market. And that was just for the case of sustainability and reaching out to more girls. So the issue of capital has been a challenge, but it has not stopped us. Despite being a challenge, it has not stopped us. We are growing and we are really focused, and this thing has to work out. We're not going to stand and just let girls suffer. This thing will work out. Yes. But another issue, we do have the issue of policies, where the policies, especially the trade policies, does not really support innovation and entrepreneurship. Like the issue of reusable sanitary towels, it is an issue of innovation where you assemble several things and bring them together. So you find that maybe for established businesses, the traditional business that are understood in the way that they work, it is easier for them maybe to get a tax-free over this item and this item. But since we are assembling products, and one of the products that we have to use And we have really gone out. We are not the only ones that are trying to make the reusable sanitary towels in Africa or in Tanzania, but then we have gone out of our way to ensure that we have the right material for the right purpose, such that when a girl uses our sanitary towels, she's confident and she can go about having her dreams. Yes. So this one has forced us to bring in the waterproof material from outside the country. And this one has really incurs a lot of taxes. And we are told that you might be using that one for
All right, I think
yeah.
it's just are you back?
Yeah, it's my internet. I think it's that for
Yes,
everyone else. I'm
you
not
know what?
alone.
That's what they're trying. They're trying, but we don't give up, right? We they're
But then
trying.
today, actually, we are even lucky. These past 2 days have been hectic, and I'm really grateful that this one is working out fluently. It's like
No,
it
and
knows the importance of this meeting.
no,
It's
absolutely.
not
You
acting
know
up.
what? They know exactly.
Yes,
And we're raising awareness. We never give up. We're not letting the internet or anything come between that, because it is absolutely important
definitely.
that we raise this
Mm,
awareness, and what you're doing is amazing.
mhm.
And I'm so inspired. I
Yes,
was so inspired by both of you. And yeah, I
thank you.
just want to say a few things now. Just one of the things that is we really want to work together. So what we've discussed is that we, as Global Pan Africanism Network, we would like to partner with Women's Choice Industries and other, but also by raising awareness, but also by Kongonza Youth Impact Uganda. So what we want trying to do is we're trying to raise money so that we can provide different sanitary towels, reusable sanitary towels across the globe. Okay, so what we're trying to do, so what we discussed was that we're trying to send 1,200 reusable sanitary towels across the world. So we obviously, with Global Pan Africanism Network, we have different chapters across the world, and our country representatives. And I must say, bar one, but bar Sister Siambua, they're all male, and they were so excited being and supporting the cause. So I just want to make just shout out to our brothers who are really by next to us on our side, fighting and fighting period poverty together with us. So what we're trying to do is to a raise funds also. So I've put on here on the banner below, you see that we have our Global Pan-African Queens Club PayPal account. So if you would like to support the cause, if it's just $1, $2, whatever you want to give for this cause, to actually buy sanitary towels, so that we can buy sanitary towels and send them across the world. If you rather buy sanitary towels and send them yourself, or give them yourself, or distribute them yourself, please do so. Okay, it's not if you say, you know what, I am financially not in a position to buy any sanitary towels, or to donate any money for sanitary towels, just share this, raise this awareness, share this with your family members, with your friends, raise this awareness. And see what every because we need every single one of you to end period poverty. If raise this awareness on social media using hashtag GPAN Queens Club, using hashtag end period poverty, hashtag our dignity is not conditional, hashtag GPAN. Okay, so raise this awareness. Let's end period poverty together. Just all of us, we need to work together as Pan-Africanists. We're obviously a Pan-African organization, and yeah, we understand that obviously what affects anybody on us globally affects all of us. And these are in both, and that was very important to me, is that, and important to us, GPAN Queens Club, is that we are working with people who are finding solutions, African solutions for African problems. Okay, that we're not going outside, but we are really on the ground, looking for African solutions for African problems. So, as I said, there is also the email address down there, which is gpanqueensclub at gmail.com. Our PayPal is on there as well. But yeah, so raise the awareness, hashtag, use the different hashtags. Also, if you would like to contact us, if you want to partner with us, just sharing sanitary towels, please do so. We have already received some donations in forms of sanitary towels directly. So thank you so much. Already kickstarted it. That is amazing. So all my viewers on United States of Africa, on Tuna Chiki TV, on Global Pan Africanism Network. Um, as I said, it's not all about, donating money. It's also raising this awareness that we end period poverty, that we make sure that we support African solutions for African problems, although it's a global problem, but um, um, solutions or problems that affect people of African descent. Okay, so I really just wanted to put that in there. I forgot, somebody wanted to say something. Was it Sister Siambua? Hello, Sister
Oh,
Siambua? Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you you were ready to say something.
Can I just ask a
oh
question
yeah.
of Sister Lucy as well once you've
All
finished as
right,
well,
sorry.
please? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What I want to remind others is that 52% of the female population are in the reproductive age. And so 52% of the female population are having their periods at any given day. And leaving this 52% of the female population just to cruise through this by themselves is really robbing Africa of very important human resource. So it is high time that we begin considering periods. And just as we have found ways to support each other despite the pandemic, we can find ways to support this 52% of the population during the pandemic. Let us not put period aside because of the pandemic. Let us continue and even revamp our efforts right now that women are suffering. And let me tell you one thing. With the pandemic, the economy has really staggered. And one of the needs that have been given up is the need of the women, and that is the menstrual needs. So families that were initially buying menstrual items for their female household members are no longer buying menstrual items. And that's where the reusable menstrual absorbents now come in. It is important that a woman is equipped with a reusable menstrual absorbent, not necessarily to use it any day if it is not their option, because we also just expand options for girls and women. They can use anything that they desire to use. But then having this is equipping you for any rainy day, for the rainy day, for the day that you are not able to access it. And for young girls, this is not just a luxury, this is a basic need. Yes, it is a basic need. This is very true.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. Sustainable solutions, obviously, it's not, because it's obviously an ongoing thing. Is just easier for us, isn't it? If we have these options. Also out of environmental issues and things like that. So yeah, thank you so much for this.
Yeah,
Um,
about the sustainability, I don't know if I can share with us also.
yeah, of course you can.
Is it? Oh, thank you. It's glad that I'm having a conversation with the sisters and everyone watching us. I think one thing I've always advised my sisters, these other girls I meet and boys always, is that yeah, pads. I've told you in Uganda we have a challenge for sex for pads. Girls give in sex to get pads. But I always share that we just need to think of what are we going to do to buy our own pads, because when I speak about the pad, I mean it's 3,500 here. Someone at 12 years, if this girl does not have a parent or a guardian, then she cannot accommodate buying a pad. But then at 13 years, I always share with my friends that at 13, you can do bakery. You can carry your cookies to school. I have at least gone to some schools, and I always encourage girls team up in a group. If you're in senior to team up in a group, and you girls say we are always going to do cookies. Every Wednesday it's senior to going to do cookies, and this is your team of these girls who are going to do cookies. And this is how you generate income. And
Yes.
it's one thing that I always call for the young Africans. I always hate begging personally. I think that's one thing I've not found funds, because even coming to someone's office, it's as if you're almost begging. But then, what can I do in my head and have this? And it's always my call to the mothers, even the mothers with me on the panel today. At least encourage your daughter to at least develop up that thinking that she can become a business partner to what you do. Carry this daughter of yours to your office if you are anywhere doing business, and if you're not doing business, maybe you're doing farming. Show this girl on what you're doing, because one reason we have is that girls stay home, they stay redundant, and all they can do is now thinking of sex. All they can do is having fun. They are not kept busy. So it's my call that if we think even of having the sustainable solution to these people, now can we teach them on what they can do? Because all they know now is watching TV. All they know is visiting their friends. But can these people now wake up in the morning and he is moving to the family garden, or he is going to at least read about something that is so developmental? And I think that's the way to go now. Because one, the pandemic is on. Here in Uganda, we are in a lockdown, and these girls, all they do is waking up, watch these good movies, then they go back to bed, then they're on WhatsApp or they're on Instagram, and that's what they're doing. So within this lockdown, can we at least encourage this girl start up something small for herself? Can we even instill ourselves in that Africans can be the best business guys we have? We can even be the best with the income worth here. But all we are doing, yeah, it's good. We are speaking about the period and the periodic poverty. But what's the solution? To me, the solution is always start your own and see who do you pattern with. Even if you do not have the money, but you have the mindset, you have that business plan. Maybe can I come to see to Sister Deborah, and I'm like, you know what, Sister Deborah, I think I do well in tailoring. Can I always bring my clothes to you? Then you give me this small percentage. And to mothers, if your daughter ever tells you this, embrace this. Because I personally, I have a mother. When I table out what I have and she's like, yeah, you can, I can do it with you, I feel loved so upon. But some of the mothers, when they bring this to your table, you're like, no, go back home. You go to your room even. So you see? So I feel we also need this other love to give our daughters and the sons in curbing this mainly. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, fostering the entrepreneurial spirit. I absolutely agree. We need to do that. It's just again access. Obviously, if somebody is already struggling with accessing certain products and things like that, like do we have the financial capability to start something? Yes, yes. But I agree. Raising and supporting the entrepreneurial spirits of our young girls and boys. And yeah, absolutely agree. Um, yes, again, I just want to raise awareness. So hashtag end period poverty. Thank you, Tuna Chiki TV, United States of Africa, Global Pan Africanism Network. Yeah, make sure our viewers use this hashtag to raise this awareness about period poverty and some of the things, and help us to support African solutions to African problems. Again, if you would like, share buy period products, sanitary towels, or anything like that, and donate them if you can, or share them, raise awareness, share this podcast, or just the awareness generally with your families and friends. Use hashtag GPAN, hashtag GPAN Queens Club, hashtag our dignity is not conditional, um, and hashtag end period poverty. Okay, and thank you for all the amazing comments. There've been so many comments. So thank you so much. So there is a question from one of our viewers, which said, "Are reusable sanitary towels a healthy option, or simply means to an end?" And just asking. So it's just a general question. So obviously, because you are in the field, Sister Lucy, um, yeah. So you're obviously there are different brands and different things, but I'm going to give you the chance to answer to that first.
Great, thank you. Um, I really love to answer that question because this is a question that many people have been asking. And I normally joke about this in this way. Are your panties or your innerwear just a healthy option or something that is a means like that? Yes, the cloth pads are really a healthy option, not just a means to an end because we have lacked the disposable. Actually, the reusable sanitary towels, first of all, are chemical free, they are breathable, they are odorless, soft and skin friendly, preventing from postmenstrual itch, abrasions, and infections that people have been having. And just to let you know is that the disposable sanitary towels, I'm not attacking disposable sanitary towels. In fact, I'm a very open-minded person. When we go to schools to teach girls about menstrual absorbents, we teach them about everything from the cloth pads and how to take care of the cloth pads, cloth rags that they're using, disposables, the reusable cups, and we expand access specifically to the reusable sanitary towels. So the disposable sanitary towels, the manufacturers are in no way forced by law to write the ingredients of whatever is used to make it. Oh, if anyone has a packet with ingredients, please let me know. Maybe the ones that I have read has no ingredients. So basically, we don't know what is being used or what chemical is put inside there. But then we know that the vaginal epithelium is an area that is highly absorbent, can absorb various materials easily. But some of the few chemicals that I'm sure and certain that are in the disposable sanitary towels are bleach to make it clearly white as you see it. There is wood pulp and there is starch. For those who previously used the older menstrual pads, disposable pads, they would be fluffy and at times would crumple in the middle. This is because they were not enhanced to remain stiff with the chemicals that are now used to enhance them and let them retain the stiffness, of which we do not really know. Mhm. And we also have bleach. There is plastic in the disposable sanitary towels. And if it is not plastic, it is non-woven, but non-woven also has chemicals in it, you see. Very few are pure cotton or another healthy option, but most of them are either non-woven material or plastic, which is quite dangerous. Girls have been having post-menstrual itch, fungal infections, allergic reactions, and abrasions simply by using these sanitary towels. And we all know that the options that are available in other countries. Okay, the options that are available in other countries are much better than the options of disposable sanitary towels that are available in Africa. Ours even have severe reaction, and we have had even the oldest sanitary towels have
Oh yeah. So they're trying
yes,
to
I'm back.
stop that again. Are you back?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yes. Just on the disposable, but also the reusable sanitary towel is now a healthier option than the cloth pad because with the cloth rags, it was not possible for girls to be confident in them simply because of the issue of the image. They are old, they are tattered, they are, they have faded, and they were aired under the mattresses. They take long to dry. By the third day, you are using a damp cloth pad, But for the reusable sanitary towels, these are beautiful sanitary towels. Kindly get me a piece, please. Let me just show it. Yes. So these are beautiful towels which we encourage and empower girls to. Thank you so much. To air them in the sun to dry, so they dry quickly and girls are comfortable. These are the sanitary towels that we make. You see how it's so beautiful. Yes, and this is the we have them in different colors. The white part is the part that uh, is waterproof so that the menstrual blood does not seep through. So we encourage girls to air it out to dry, and in cases where they're really not comfortable, then take a very light scarf and put over it. So this has really built girls' confidence in their period. So like, really, I can just go and air this thing out to dry. You know, we've had girls who really wanted to air their cloth rags out to dry, but because of tradition and taboos and misconception, they could not do it. They were forced. The society told them that nobody should ever see it. It is a shame for somebody to see your cloth rag that you use to manage your periods. But then when we give them this information, we let them know that it is okay to hang them out to dry. And girls are now, wow, oh, finally I can now hang this thing out to dry. So giving them a healthier option of not using damp and moist menstrual clothes that put them susceptible to infections, and these things are now left as culture media for bacteria and fungal infections, you know. So the reusable sanitary towels is really a healthy option. And personally, it is not out of desperation that I use it, but I use it because of the benefits that I have seen from it. And let me share with you one thing of which I'd love people to come up with testimonies. We have had girls who had the other year we managed to add in more stuff, and when we bring in stuff, we give them a package of reusable sanitary towels to use. And we added a lot of young girls who were still in their periods, but when they came, most of them had severe abdominal pain during periods, the dysmenorrhea. And I we just had in our first aid kit, we had to have the pain relief tablets. But then I realized that after about 6 7 months, they were no longer coming for the pain relief tablets. And you know, I jokingly told them one day, "You girls, why are you not coming for these tablets? Could you be pregnant or something? What's happening?" And they were like, no, the pain has really subsided. For some, the pain is gone. For some, the pain is bearable. And that happened after they started using the reusable sanitary towels. And personally, I've had a more stable period. My period are now very regular. I can estimate the days when I'm having my periods. My period is much lighter. I never have pains during my period, but then it does not take 6 or 7 days again. It is now 4 3.5 days, and it is done. Since I started the reusable sanitary towels that have no chemical, we are not washing with detergents or powder soaps. It is just water and bar soap, whose pH is very neutral. You do not need to alter the pH of these items because the vaginal environment is really sensitive to the pH. You make it alkaline, you're susceptible to fungal infections. You make it acidic, you're susceptible to bacterial infections. So this one really maintains the pH of the vagina and keeps you healthy at all times. So dear Aura, I'm really grateful for your question because it has helped other people. And the reusable sanitary towels are really a healthy option to period. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. And I say, like, as somebody who uses reusable sanitary products, they are much more expensive in the West
Mhm.
than, like,
Yes.
initially than disposable ones. So, like, with
Mm-hmm.
time, obviously, it pays out after a few years, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
so very some of us are very consciously using reusable sanitary towels
Mm-hmm.
because there are no, as you
Mm-hmm.
said, Sister Lucy, there's no bleach in it, there are no chemicals in
Mm-hmm.
it, and
Mm-hmm.
for environmental protection reason and that kind of thing. So, and yeah, there are different things like, we have pads, we have period underwear, so it's just panties you basically wear and you don't
Mm-hmm.
leak, and things like that. So there's so many different options now, and that just yeah, only because it's the reusable ones are more traditional doesn't mean that they are worse. There's just more natural for me, and so for me personally, just on a personal level, it has changed a lot as well. So yeah, so thank you for that question. Yes, so I'm very conscious of time. Again, just want to say thank you to our viewers on United States of Africa, Tuna Chiki TV, Global Pan Africanism Network. Um, And again, let's end period poverty together using raise awareness, use the hashtags of end period poverty, hashtag our dignity is not conditional, hashtag GPAN Queens Club, hashtag GPAN. Yes. So we have a few more minutes just to talk about. So I'm going to ask our viewers to just also leave some comments to see how are you going to raise awareness of to end period poverty. What are you going to do? I just again, if you look at the banner we have here, our email address if you'd like to partner with us or contact us, have any comments. So we have GPAN Queens Club at gmail.com. We have our PayPal address as well if you would like to donate to our cause. And we're always every month, every time in our program, we're going to give an update of how far or how close we are of sending this 1200 period reusable period products or sanitary towels across the globe. Yes. So before we end, any final comments from my wonderful panel today? Sister Leah, so you're just next to me, so I'm going to ask you first.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, basically, I want to thank both of the guest speakers that come on today. Um, and I'm really inspired to move from disposable sanitary products for everybody that I know. I will certainly be highlighting the use of reusable ones, and its benefits. This is something that I didn't know anything about until today. So thank you to you both. I will certainly be championing, its use. So thank you.
Thank you for this. Absolutely, Sister Siambua.
Thank you so much. I've actually learned a lot as well. I do have a question for Lucy. What about extremely heavy flow? Because some of us have that heavy flow that takes, how do I, it's like it's extremely heavy flow, and normal pads that cannot work for us. And so, how are they reusable
Mhm.
in regards to extremely heavy flow? That's that's one thing I would like to know because
Great.
I'm pretty
Yes.
impressed with what it is right now, and the current pads we have in the market are an
Mhm.
extreme struggle. So
Mhm.
if it
Yes,
can
I
work for
know.
some of us, we'll be happy to move.
Yes. For our sanitary towels, they are the maxi ones that are able to absorb more than 30 mils in 1 minute. So they are used for both the heavy and the light flow. But when you have an extremely heavy flow, you might love to use maybe the maternity pads, because we also have the reusable postpartum maternity pads, which are quite thicker and longer. And yes, you might love to use that one. Yes, we can link up, and I can send you one. When is your birthday?
My
I'd
birthday
love
just
to
passed,
gift you on
but
your
it can
birthday.
be my
When is your
birthday again.
birthday?
Why my birthday passed? It was in June.
Okay. It was in June. So what are you celebrating in the near future? Maybe I could make your day, or just to celebrate the woman in you. Yes, let's link up.
The woman in me will be fine. Yes, you're not far
Yes.
from me. Tanzania is
Yes.
next door, so and I'm in Kenya, so we are definitely
Oh,
neighbors.
it's okay. We send parcels to Kenya all the time. So they stuff mid bus. Are you in Nairobi?
Yes, I'm in Nairobi.
Yes, I'll send you your parcel and you'll get it in Nairobi.
Yes, and definitely we should link up the two organizations and we see how our soccer program can help because it's definitely in the same line with what you guys are doing. And so instead of me trying to figure out how to start distribution of pads, I'll definitely reach out to the two of you and
Mm-hmm.
we can work together.
Mm-hmm.
I can do my sports part, and then you can do the period part.
Sure, sure, definitely. Great.
Oh, thank you so much. That was
Great,
lovely.
great.
Lovely
We
Pan
work with
African
partnerships
moment.
all the time.
Yes, did you see this
Yeah.
Pan African moment right there? I loved it. Womanhood, everything, sisterhood, Pan
Yes,
Africanism. I
yes.
saw everything
Awesome.
right here.
Beautiful.
Loved it. Brother
Mm-hmm.
Angus, um,
Mm-hmm.
are you frozen, Brother Angus? No.
Yeah.
Right,
No, no,
okay.
no, I'm on.
Good.
I'm
You're
on.
here. No, come on then. So any last words for us?
Well, my words would be, one is that we need to start now. I've already said here with my friends that teenage pregnancy is real, and there is this other thing that we are not speaking about, a pandemic within another pandemic, which is HIV amongst the young people. Yeah, we can speak about the periodic poverty, but then there is this other challenge we have as Africa. In Uganda, it's on, which is HIV. When I get an opportunity and I'm sharing, I usually want to encourage the young people that, yeah, you can get saved, but HIV cannot leave your body. You can go for your periods every month, but HIV will never ever leave your body. So what do we do as Kugonza is that we at least encourage the young people, abstain if you can, and if you do not, then put on your condom. For those that do not have the pads, I always want to see what business idea do you have that we can build on now. I'm so glad that I'm on a panel of the ladies. It's my call to the mothers here, to the ladies here, to the club itself, that let's take the mantle to see our girls become like us now. How I wish the next conversation is between my son and your daughter here today. That's my wish now. Not my son meeting your daughter and all they are doing is evil because we are not speaking to them. So it's my call right off from you people that I'm with on this panel that from here at least have that ample time with your daughter in the bedroom alone. Call your son and tell your son, you know what? When you sleep with a girl, this is what happened. By the way, when you even sleep with a girl, there is this possibility of getting HIV. And my dear girl, when you even go outside and you will know that you have your periods today, then boys are going to laugh at you. And even when they laugh at you, do not leave school because school is one thing that we all need now. Yeah, we're in a lockdown and school is not going on in some areas here, but then it's all about encouraging each other now. It has been a golden opportunity, and at Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda, we are so blessed being on such a panel. My sister from Tanzania, I don't know that I will be to Tanzania. I've not been to Tanzania. I've been to Kenya once, but I pray that I can come and visit you, then see what you're doing. And it's always my love and pleasure when I see you people join us. By the way, in November, we shall have the African continent come and visit Kugonza. Any friend who feels like joining us, we have a home in one of the islands, which is Karangara, and we shall have a fellowship mainly for the girls, for the teens, for the ladies, and speaking on how best can we now stop this as the ladies alone. It's going to be more of a fellowship for 3 days. That's a weekend from Thursday up to Sunday. I invite you in advance. I surely invite you. Thank you very much. May God bless us as we see Uganda, East Africa, and the whole continent become one in curbing teenage pregnancy and the spread of HIV. Thank you very much.
I think Thank you. You see, my daughter's toys just starting for no reason. I don't know why, but I think that was in support of your statement, Brother Angus.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for the invitation. I can't wait to go to the motherland. I'm not like I'm taking this invitation. It's like I'm gonna remind you when I turn up in all of these countries. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the work you're doing. Absolutely, it has been a pleasure, and raising this awareness, doing what you're doing. May you're blessed. May you remain blessed. Thank you so much. So, Sister Lucy, any last words for our
Yes.
viewers?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. For me, I just want to encourage our viewers and anyone else who will have to view this later that, like we started here, let us keep the menstrual conversation open and rolling. It is high time that family knows that there is a menstrual budget of which they should budget for and not let it for the girls to fend for themselves during their periods. That's what's bringing about the issue of sex for parts and the non-disclosure of girls in the issue, letting them just feel bad about themselves, unable to achieve their dreams and visions. And secondly, I'd love to let everyone know that periods are not a source of shame. Period is a dignified issue, a source of a woman's pride, and it is really healthy. The blood loss is just a normal blood loss that is shedding because there was no pregnancy, there was no fertilization of the ovum, and it's nothing dirty, it's nothing sacrilegious, if I would use that word. And it is a source of pride. Yes, it is really a source of pride. But also, again, it is high time that we start considering the next generation. Like I said before, we will all sign out and we need people to take over. If you are not preparing for it now, then you need to consider it. We're going to sign out, we're going to phase out, but I don't want a next generation coming, and it's already happening right now. You see, we are having a generation of young girls who do not know about young girls and boys who do not have visions. They think things can come in just, you wish for it and abracadabra, it's there. Let us tell them that you have visions, and for you to realize your vision, then you need to focus one on your education at your age, and once they know that dreams can be realized, then they begin setting dreams for themselves. Let us take this period information that we don't want periods to cut your education, and we want you to continue with your education because we need you to step in for the world and for the next generation. We are handing over the stick like in a relay. We relate over to each and everyone. Yes.
Thank you so, so much. Sister Iberichi?
Okay. I want to say thanks to Brother Angus and Sister Lucy for this impactful section. I just want to add that to end period poverty, we all have our roles to play, because if there's a gap between the grown up women and the younger girls in the matter of period menstruation, then there's really a problem. So we all have our roles to like educate our young ones on menstruation period, to make them know that okay, this is part of it, and at one point in time they have to go through it. And we mothers, I want to call myself a mother, even though I'm not I don't have a child yet, but we have roles to play to ensure that we keep educating our girls, because if we do not let them know things like this, there's no way they could like pass it down to the next generation. Like Sister Lucy mentioned, that it's a relay race. You pass it down. It's whatever you pass down that keeps going like that. And I really want to say that, like in where I come from, like during the rite of passage, there's a level you get to, when you grow into your teenage age, where they have this associate, like this kind of like will I call it sensitization, like programs for young girls, then make them realize, okay, at this point in time in your life, these are the things you would begin to experience. May begin to experience guys approaching you, begin to experience, your menstruation, and time you may have to get married. I know you will move out, and then they use this period to teach them what they need to know, and how what they need to know for the nearest future. So we need to keep alive things like this. This kind of cultural practices are very important, that we need to keep them alive, because if we get so busy not educating our young ones, over time these ideas will die down. Then then we'll have issues like this period poverty coming up. So we all have our roles to play, and like Sister Lucy mentioned, like people keeping period like is a secret. You don't talk about it in open, you don't let people know it. It's another reason why some people do not know about some people, some ladies or some girls may not know, or might not have heard about period poverty and period, or or the period comes to them unknowing. So we all have our roles to play to ensure that our period goes well. Then I also want to mention about period health. It's very important that we teach them. Some people during their menstrual cycle, they have different challenges. So it's also important that we also educate ourselves, our younger ones, on these changes that occur. So you don't see yourself to be an odd person, or maybe there's something wrong with you, or maybe you're like things like that just because you are having, some hormonal changes or some odd experiences during the period of menstrual cycle.
Thank you so much for this. Absolutely. And it was a pleasure. It was absolutely amazing to have this conversation with all of you, and this essential and important conversation. And let's, as Sister Lucy said, let's keep it going. Let's enable our girls to reach their full potential, to walk in their purpose, to reach, to be future leaders. Let's end period poverty together. Hashtag end period poverty. Hashtag our dignity is not conditional. Hashtag GPAN Queens Club. I thank my wonderful, wonderful panel today, our wonderful guests today. Thank you so much for this. On this Pan African Women's Day, couldn't have spent it any better way. I honor you, and I honor our ancestors who have walked before us. And let's end this. Okay. So again, you see on the panel here on the banner, gpanqueensclub@gmail.com, if you would like to contact us. Sister Lucy, how can people reach you? How can anybody reach you?
Yes. My name again is Lucy Odiwa for our late viewers, and I'm the co-founder and chief executive officer, Women Choice Industries, Tanzania. You can find us, you can send us an email on womenchoice@yahoo.com. Yes, I'll repeat, womenchoice@yahoo.com. And you can also visit our website, that is www.womenchoice.co.tz. And again, you can find us on Instagram, that is womenchoice_Selamapad. You can reach me directly on Facebook, Acheng Odiwa, and find us on Twitter as Women Choice I and Lucy Odiwa. You can also find us on LinkedIn, Women Choice, or also just search Lucy Odiwa and you'll get me. But then, yes, you can find me on this official number. That is, for anyone outside Tanzania, you have to put the code +255 717 445856. So that number is on WhatsApp. You can give it a call or text anytime, and as soon as I am able, I will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure, Brother Angus is struggling a little bit. Brother Angus, can you hear us? Right, but if you would like to reach Brother Angus, you can contact us, and we're going to put you into contact with him, okay, and Kogonza Youth Impact. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure. We are going to be next program is going to be on the 15th of August. We are also still talking about rites of passage, and I can't wait to share that with you as well. Okay, so as I said, thank you very much for today's program, and I see you next